Welcome to the podcast for and about Colorado Springs. I'm your host, Brittany Felix, and every Monday through Friday, I'll be talking about a different aspect relating to the Springs, including upcoming events, restaurant reviews, local business spotlights, media coverage about the Springs, public works projects, local activities, answering your questions about the city, and much, much more. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss any of the updates, and also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can find links to all of those social media accounts at springspodcast.com/social media. The Colorado Springs podcast is proudly sponsored by Elevation Hydration. Elevation Hydration is the only hydration therapy clinic serving Colorado Springs, and they are dedicated to helping you elevate your life. They use intravenous vitamin therapy to help athletes needing a boost of energy or help recovering after a tough competition, people experiencing cold-like symptoms or dehydration from the flu, anyone needing to recover quickly from a rough night out. I'm looking at you, college kids. And just anyone wanting a healthy alternative to preventative care. They have a wide variety of hydration packages to help address whatever your needs are. They're conveniently located inside Lush Beauty Lounge at 812 Village Center Drive, and if you mention this podcast during your visit, you'll receive $10 off any hydration package. To learn more about Elevation Hydration or to schedule an appointment, visit springspodcast.com/hydrate. Welcome to episode 26 of the Colorado Springs podcast. It is Monday, so of course we're going to be talking about the events happening around the city this week. And as usual, because our city is amazing and extremely active and vibrant, we have a lot of things happening, so I'm only going to touch on about 9 or 10 of the events that really stood out to me. And of course, you can find all of the events at springspodcast.com/events so that you can check out exactly what's happening and see what stands out to you and figure out what you want to do this week. So to start off with, we have something that definitely stood out to me because this movie is one of my all-time favorites, especially when I'm sick. I have about 5 movies that are my go-tos whenever I'm sick, and this one is very high on that list. But the Broadway version of Dirty Dancing is going to be coming to the Pikes Peak Center for Performing Arts on Tuesday and Wednesday. Tickets range from $40 to $85, and there is a link in the event listing on my website for you to purchase those tickets. The show does start at 7:30 p.m. on both nights, and again, all of the information is in the event listing on my site. And next, the Rock Rimmon branch of the PPLD is putting on a homeschool presentation, and it's actually an animal meet and greet. It's on February 9th from 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. The event is free, and the description says, zookeeping students from Pikes Peak Community College will share information about animal care careers, introduce a variety of live animals, and provide some hands-on animal interaction time. And as I just mentioned, it is free, but registration is required, and you can find a link to that on my site. And every single Thursday at Garden of the Gods, they do a free 5K fun run called Gallop in the Garden. It does start at 4 p.m., and they request that everyone meet in the lower lobby of the Garden of the Gods Visitor and Nature Center, and they have mapped out 5 different routes that they'll rotate, but 3 of them are available each week. And they actually do partner up with Fossil Craft Beer Company, and if you run 5 routes, you get a token for a free Fossil Brewery beer or ginger ale if you're under 21. There is 1 designated stroller route available, and dogs are welcome as long as they are leashed and you, of course, pick up after them. And again, that's Thursday, February 9th from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., and this is something they will be continuing to do every Thursday. The next thing I want to mention is not so much of an event to attend, but it's actually auditions that the 7 One-Liners improv comedy troupe are holding for new members. Obviously, the auditions are free. They are also on Thursday, February 9th from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Auditions are open to all age levels, but they do prefer that you be above the age of 18 due to them having late-night shows occasionally and also occasional out-of-town overnight gigs. The auditions are being held at Cottonwood Center for the Arts, and again, that's February 9th from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And next we have an event that I think seems pretty awesome, actually. is very unique, and I just love the creativity behind it. But it's actually a date night / kids night out centered around the Phantom of the Opera. It's happening on Friday, February 10th, starting at 5:30 p.m. at the Colorado Springs Pioneers Museum. And essentially what they're doing is they're showing Lon Chaney's 1925 silent film, The Phantom of the Opera, but the film is also going to be accompanied by a professional 5-piece chamber ensemble, which I think is such a unique way to showcase a movie like this. I think it would be amazing to hear the music performed live as you're watching the silent film. But if you heard me mention that it's also a kids' night out, they will actually have a special section for the children so that while the adults are watching the movie, enjoying some wine, having some hors d'oeuvres, the children will actually be making crafts and watching a kid-friendly film. And guests are actually encouraged to get into the spirit of the film, as the description says, and dress in their own Phantom-inspired costumes for the event. And for the kids, it says, feel free to dress comfy and bring a sleeping bag for moving watching fun. Tickets for adults are $25 for non-members, $20 for members. Children are $10 for non-members and $5 for members. RSVPs are required, and the instructions to do that are in the event listing on my website. And next we have the Colorado Springs Philharmonic presents Divas of the 60s. This also takes place on Friday, February 10th, starting at 7:30 p.m. It will be at the Pikes Peak Center for the Performing Arts. And tickets are $21 and up. They are going to be showcasing pieces by Aretha Franklin, The Supremes, and more. And moving on to Saturday, we have Thai Yoga for Couples being presented by Sunwater Spa in Manitou Springs. Tickets are $30 per couple, and it says they'll lead you through heart-opening partner poses with a special emphasis on creativity and connection. You can also add a soak in their mineral water pool for an additional $15 each. So if you're looking for something a little bit different to do with your partner to celebrate Valentine's Day, you might want to consider Thai Yoga. And also on Saturday, starting at 8 p.m. at the Stargazers Theater, there is a Beatles tribute. The group Yesterday will actually be performing the tribute, and they are Las Vegas based, and they have toured Japan 7 times and performed on 5 continents. The doors open at 6:30 p.m., and you can find the information for the pricing of the tickets as well as how to purchase those in the event listing on my website. And the last event that I am going to feature in this episode is the Valentine's Tea at the McAllister House Museum, also on Saturday starting at 11 a.m. Tickets are $25 per person, and it is a tea with scones, sandwiches, and cake, and then also a tour of the historic McAllister House Museum. Reservations are required by phone, and I have that phone number in the event listing on my website. If you're interested in attending any of these events or finding out what else is happening, just go to springspodcast.com/events. That's going to wrap it up today. I want to remind you to follow the Colorado Springs Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, whichever platform you prefer, or all of them. You can find links to all of those at springspodcast.com/social media. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you back here tomorrow for yet another episode.